Mike Tedeschi, Portfolio Manager over at Perspective Wealth Planning. It's a holiday shortened trading week just in the U.S. We had Monday off due to Memorial Day. However, the rest of the globe did have their markets open, and there was some interesting price action that we saw. And so what I want to do here, you guys, I want to take a look here at the S&P 500. Sunday night when the markets opened, everything rallied up until Monday, in which it started to fall. In fact, at one point the S&P 500 was up almost 1%, and now here we are Monday about to open, and we are down about 0.75%, and we've created a pretty ugly looking candle on a daily basis after that was run up. Now I want to zoom in and take a look at an hourly chart first. Now you guys have heard me say this many times before. Support and resistance levels are what I pay very close attention to. And on the S&P 500, we had a very clear price action zone right around that 4,060 to 4,100 zone, and we broke out on Friday. Right, so this was resistance. It was support back here. It was resistance, and now when it breaks through, this area could act as support. So if you're looking at the pullback that we've had here overnight, the key is that we still hold above that 4,060 zone, because this would be a perfectly normal price action to test this range and then continue to head higher. However, if it were to break below that, that would be concerning. And one of the reasons why it may break below is because of the price action that we've seen in the US dollar and oil over the weekend. So here is a chart of oil, and I want to back this up. We go all the way back on this chart. This is an hourly chart going all the way back to the beginning of January. And this right here is our big spike up due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, right? After a couple of days of panic, we fell back down, and we have not traded above that 116 zone until the last day. Now, this move that we had here overnight has pushed oil up almost back up to 120. And if you plotted this against the S&P 500, what you can see right here is Sunday night, right? Oil didn't break above that zone, but early Monday morning it did break above that zone, and when this broke above, that's when the S&P 500 started to turn around and head lower. Why is that? Well, last week, part of the reason we had the huge rally out of the S&P 500 was because inflation numbers were not as hot than the Fed PCE numbers. And the biggest concern that this market has was that inflation is going to continue to run hot. The Fed's going to have to hike rates faster and faster and faster. So one of the things that we can look at from an inflation standpoint is energy, and this breaking out, oil breaking out and pushing up here has now put those concerns that seemed like they might have been abated Thursday and Friday of last week back on the table, and that's the reason why we're opening a little bit weak here Monday morning. Now, when we take a look not only at crude, but we take a look at gas, gas is about to tick and make that new high as well. It's just a couple of ticks away from it, and this has been a continued run higher here. It has taken out the highs from where oil didn't, from that spike up in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and so we're looking at a potential new all-time high there out of gas futures. Now, the other thing that we want to take a look at here over the weekend is cryptocurrencies. Now, when we take a look in at Bitcoin, right, last week we had no rally in Bitcoin. NASDAQ and Bitcoin have been trading very similarly for quite some time. Weakness in the NASDAQ has been weakness in crypto. And last week when we had the big rally out of the NASDAQ, we didn't get it out of the crypto space. And a lot of people were looking at this very concerned that we were potentially going to make that breakdown because it stopped rallying, when the NASDAQ was rallying. However, over the weekend, Bitcoin and Ethereum made some huge moves. Bitcoin's up almost 10% this morning. It looks like it has clearly held that 28,000 level with a big, strong bounce. The key to this is going to be, does this have any sort of momentum and follow through? All right. When we look at this on that hourly chart, you can clearly see that we had this downtrend line that was in play. It made that breakout and has continued to push. However, we do have some major resistance in around that 32,000 level, and then you can see on the futures the big gap back up here around that 36,000 from that leg lower, that's what they're going to need to recapture for this market to really start looking good. So here again, here's that big daily chart, and here's that gap right in here. And really what we're going to want to see is to get back up over this gap zone if this is any chance of kind of repairing some of the damage that's been done. We've talked about this a lot. We said 28,000 was that major level. It's the lows from 2021, and here we are starting to turn back up. That is a first bit of constructive action that we've seen out of this space in a while. We're going to pay very close attention to what happens there. We'll take a look in at Ethereum here as well for you. Ethereum 1700, you can see the major price action that's taking place at that level. Here's the bounce, here's the bounce, here's the bounce, and here it looks like the bounce. Now you can see it's still below its downtrend line that's in play here over the last month or two. Ethereum's been a lot weaker. Most of the other cryptocurrencies have been a lot weaker. Bitcoin has kind of been the most stable name in the space. So you're really going to want to see Ethereum get back up over 2,200 and then its major levels all the way back up here at 2,700. So while we had a huge bounce to about 12% here over the weekend, there is still a lot of damage on this chart and still a lot that needs to be accomplished to fix this. We got a lot to look at this week. I hope you guys stay safe out there. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out at mtedeschi at Perspective Wealth Planning or give me a call at 814-580-9881. I hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.